Hello, everybody. Time again for a very, very cool and pretty complex study. We are playing white and we want to win this, but black has a pawn that is threatening to promote in the next move, and we need to stop it somehow. Otherwise, we cannot really win. So, stop the video now and think about it, and then start play again. And when you come back, we will go through everything together. See if you can find the solution yourself first. Go ahead. All right, here we go. So the mission to stop here is starting with a rook sacrifice. Rook d4 check, with the idea that black takes and we can play our knight to c1, threatening the pawn but also threatening a fork if it promotes to a queen. So let's back up and just see what happens if black doesn't take this rook. If he plays king b3 instead, the easiest for white is just to give a check on c1 and then take this pawn, and we are winning. But actually, uh, knight c5 check is a checkmate in 4 moves from here. I'm not going to show you that. You can figure that out for yourself if you want. But it's clearly winning in both variations for white. All right, so what about king b5, attacking this pawn and at the same time threatening to promote? Well, then white has this brilliant rook b4 check. If he moves like this, well, we just play rook a4 and we'll take here. And if instead black will take the pawn on a5, we can take on b7, threatening to check here and get the pawn from behind. And this will not help black because we will just give a check with our knight first, and he's forced back. So this is winning. All right, so then we quickly went through all the variations if he doesn't take. So black needs to take. As I said, we play knight c1, threatening to take here, so he has to promote. If he promotes to a queen, it's an easy win for us, like this. But you might think that this problem was easy. But of course, he promotes to a knight, stopping us from playing knight b3. And now all of a sudden, we are on equal material. One knight each, 2 pawns each. And it's not that easy to win. But white is still winning this. So this is maybe where the real study starts. How do we win this for white as white from here? You want to pause the video again and see if you can find all the variations? Go ahead. All right, here we go. So we need to start with pushing our f pawn. This is a threat, and we need to use this threat to get the king's attention to somewhere else than saving this. Okay, if now black plays king e4. First, just check. This knight is covering b3 and the king is covering c2, so this knight cannot move anywhere. That's the beauty of it, and that's why we are winning. All right, he's attacking our pawn, and now we want to free our knight from not covering b3, so we are playing king c3. Now we block both of these squares with our king, and our knight is free to use something else, like this. If it takes, check, and we are checking again, taking on b7, and this is winning, something like this, a6, king c6, and then we can just take on c5. He can go here, block everything, but he cannot take our knight, so we can just go and take his knight, and then walk back with our king where we want, and we will win this. Okay, so let's say he doesn't take our pawn on f4. Instead, he plays c5 with the idea of getting this one in and forcing us to let go of his knight. Well, we play, so something like this is actually just a draw, because we can take, and now we are not getting anywhere. If we go get the knight now, black will actually be able to come back and get a draw here. So it's very unnecessary to play our f pawn here. Instead, we're going to go and take this knight right away. We can play c4. He cannot take now, because again, then we can have a check. Take here and then take there. Tries c4. And now we take. Everything else leads to a draw, actually. So this is just good enough, because now we have time. He needs to take here. We will play the king to b2, just going for his pawn like this. He can guard it with the king d5, but this is just winning anyway, because now with this knight on d4, we cover all these squares, and this will just be winning. B6 doesn't do any good, because we will just pass it. All right, so this will win for white. Let's go back and now have a look at this situation. After f4, maybe black doesn't have to go to e4 and allowing us to put our king on c3. He can do other things, like playing c5. How do we win now as white? Do you see it? We play f5, and now he's more or less forced, but more or less. Let's look at this. If he plays like c4, then f6 will just win. This is not able to catch it with either king or knight, so it's winning. Okay, so if he plays king e5, now we can give a check on d3 with our knight, and when it takes, we take here, and now from here we still covering the b3 square, and this is easy win for white, because we'll also play, it goes with his king. We cannot take here, that will be a draw because of the fork, but we can play king c3 first, and it's easy win now. We will just take here, and this will become a queen, and this one can't move. And let me show you one more variation here. If we go back after we check, actually black has another defense also, playing king d5 instead of taking here, with the idea that we play f6, he will get his knight out with a check, and then he plays knight d4, and he can go to e6 and stop this pawn. But we will not mind if he goes here, because we have a beautiful check here with a fork. He's forced to take, and then we promote and we win. Or if he just moves his king, doesn't matter, then we take his knight, and then we will promote next time. Okay, so that's that. But we are not done. There are some more lines to cover, actually. I told you this is a complex study, and it's for sure. So let's start looking from here. After c5, f5. He, instead of playing king e5, he's trying some other stuff, but playing king d5 instead. Now, pretty sure we need to block his knight here, because if we play f6 now, this actually is a draw. Then he can just take it, and we wasted some tempos, and he will keep both his pawns against this one, and we are not winning that. So we need to play king c3 first. He plays c4 with the idea to get his knight out and sacrifice a pawn for it. But then we cannot allow. This is actually a draw also, because of king e6. And then if we take here, he will get his knight out here. or otherwise he will just sacrifice a pawn take here, and we are drawing. But we play king b2 right away, forcing him to take out this sacrifice right away, not wasting any time of moving our pawn. And now he has to go to his pawn, but then it takes too long time, and we will be winning this, as you see. And he cannot stop this. So that's how we win this, all the way from the start, all variations covered, I think. Let me know if I missed something. I hope you enjoyed this study, even though it was very complex. Press like on the video, please, and come back to my channel for more cool things. Have a great day. Bye.